You know, there's a lot of people that will tell you that this is Canada's time. Prophets, futurists, economists. They just look and they say, we have so much, we're blessed with so much. And you can't blame them. We have 20% of the fresh water in the world. Without question, will be the most important resource of the next century. Oil, we have the largest oil reserves in the world. And in this decade, we're going to produce more oil than the House of Saudi. Farmland, millions upon millions of acres. Millions more if we want to open it up. And we control the majority of potash, which is a fertilizer needed to increase the yield to feed an insatiable appetite of a growing population. Minerals, trees to create the sinks and houses that this growing middle class around the world needs. Our banking system. We survived the subprime crisis, sort of. We've got a surplus in the government. Man, the next generation, just sit at home and dial it in. Get a dividend check for being Canadian. But I think we owe this generation more than a shovel and a pump. I think we got to think hard about what's happening to Canada on our watch. In the year 2000, up until this point, we've lost 60 of the biggest Canadian corporations, most of them now owned by foreigners. The mining industry, in 1995, we had 12 of the biggest mining companies in the world. We now have 5. Our government had its head up its ass when Falconbridge and Inco wanted to come together to create a great Canadian corporation, and we couldn't act fast enough, and now owned by foreign corporations. Forests, farmlands, forest industry, farming industry, owned by multinationals. Our banking is small now in comparison to what's going on in the world. Productivity, the lifeblood of capitalism. Productivity is the only way we can increase wealth. Just a 1% increase in productivity, we double our net worth, our standard of living every 70 years. A 2 to 3% increase in productivity, we solve every societal issue we're going to face. Healthcare, aging population, education. Since the year 2000, our productivity has stagnated. Stagnated. While the rest of the world around us, the Brazils, the Indias, the Irelands, the Finlands, the United States has soared. We now have a $12,000 average family gap between our standard of living and the people in the States. People say, but how about our trade surplus, $44 billion? If we didn't have the United States south of us, we would have a deficit. So much of that surplus has been created by the automotive industry. 19 of the last 20 new plants created in North America, we've lost. That's the world we're creating on our watch. That's the country we're creating on our watch. We've hidden behind a cheap Canadian dollar for 30 years, and we are among the lowest investors in Asia and exporters to Asia on our watch. And that's what Generation Y, this new generation coming up, is going to have to deal with. And that's wrong because this country's been so good to us. There's not a person in this audience that hasn't had intellectual, emotional, or financial wealth because of what Canada's provided us. In this marketing world, our ability to go to work every day and strategize and debate and figure out how we're going to take one market share from someone else, to bring a community together to create, to see our craft on the store shelf, on a television set, on a billboard. That's what this industry's given to us. But what do we have going forward? Let's just think about it. Let's talk about innovation. How are we doing as innovators? How are we doing about creating the new products of tomorrow and the new services? Our research and development, the lowest among industrial nations. Patent applications, number 2 in terms of the lowest. Government funding for research, the countries that are soaring, governments are funding their universities. Attracting the best minds, creating the best meccas of talent. We're among the lowest in industrial countries. How about our industry, marketing? Can we just put a blanket over and hope we survive? Let's go out and walk the store shelves. There's 3.3 million brands that have been created in our watch. Most of them Me Too, meaningless innovation. New product failures that are at an all-time high. Brand loyalty is at an all-time low. Media. On our watch, the fragmentation of media and the splintering of media is becoming harder and harder to get the consumer's attention. Advertising recall is at an all-time low. How about shopping? Everybody's chasing Walmart. Everybody thinks that's the only white space for retail. So we're now wandering through these 120,000 square foot stores, and shopping satisfaction is an all-time low. And where's the consumer running? To their media, to their social network. The consumer is now in control. We're in the middle of one of the greatest marketing revolutions and communication revolutions in the history of mankind. I believe that this will go down greater than when the printing press replaced the scribe. And I question, are we part of it? Are we part of this new revolution? Are we getting debated in Canada what the new model will be? Are the Digices coming out of Canada? Are the TED conferences coming to Canada? Is the Love Marks coming to Canada? Are we part of this dialogue? Do we have a seat at the table? Are we allowing our destiny to be a matter of choice or a matter of chance? That's what we got to come to terms with. We're Canadians. We like to be so passive and just wait and hope things come to us. I don't think they're going to come to us. I think this world's going to get more hostile and it's going to get more competitive. And we're seeing it every day. We're seeing multinationals now pull back control of their brands and their strategy to their head offices. And they think of Canada as a lift and adapt country. Well, I can promise you that if you think you're going to make your livelihood in lift and adapt, forget about it. Because that work will get outsourced to India. That work will get outsourced to countries that'll say, give me the global platform, I'll slice and dice it for 144 countries. You don't need an office in Canada. You don't need an agency in Canada. We got to be at a world where we have a seat at that table. We got to be part of the debate and the dialogue. And that's what today is all about. Today is about dreaming, it's about doing, and it's about acting. So I want to share with you my dream, and then I want to hear your dreams. And I don't want us to be very Canadian about this. I want to be the start where we rally together and make a difference. My dream is that Canada becomes a world center for creativity and innovation. That multinationals look at this country as this petri dish for finding the products and services of tomorrow. That they come here and they start looking to us to test the new models of how we're going to engage the consumer, persuade them to buy brands. That they see this country as a country of purpose. That they bring their best people to Canada. That people want to cut off their arms to come work in this country because we're about the future, not the past. That agencies want to bring their best people because they have to be at the epicenter of brand creation and strategy, new model development, CRM, ROI. The Accentures come to the world. Entrepreneurs flourish in this economy because we're feeding the world's appetite for what's coming next. But I don't want to just dream it. I want to do it. And what we need is a strategy. This country so often lacks strategy. And this strategy takes advantage of the gifts we've been given in Canada. We have a multicultural society. We have the world living within our doorsteps. We speak the language of business worldwide, which is English. We understand technology. Our Generation Y has grown up as gamers, and they have a left brain and right brain capabilities we never imagined. We have a government surplus. So instead of simply investing $700 million trying to keep the automotive industry to go, and now they're reputed another $1 billion, let's take some of that money and apply it to our world so we can go and knock on those multinational doors with sledgehammers and say, we demand that global work. So we can put Canadian companies at the very top of their game. And here's what I would do with that money. I'd love to go to work tomorrow and say Statistics Canada no longer is about providing me with legacy data about what happened in the last election. It's providing me with insight and data on every marketplace in the world online. I can go out and find out about any marketplace in the world online. I can flip a switch in that same computer and I have conversations and online panels with cultures, with communities, with people, with wholesalers, with retailers, with manufacturers, with entrepreneurs all over the world. I can connect with some of the 3.3 million Canadians that are living abroad, 8% of our population, and use those people as a foothold into global markets. I can have tools and technology that give me every right